Something we talked about at the start is the 2-2 rollout might mess them up just a little bit. They do have Zytor, of course, to come in as their double support if they want to put Monk Marder on a Widowmaker, which I can imagine we're going to see a whole lot more of going into playoffs.
What I'm really interested to see here is Monk Marder's movement throughout this defense, because one of the things that can make or break a Hollywood defense or offense is how Hanzos take advantage of what's in the top left corner of your screen, that veranda. Some people call it drinks or juice because it's got the big old carton on it full of liquids. And playing from up there as a Hanzo, you can get a lot of damage and you can circumnavigate an Orisa barrier very effectively. Team Gigantti have opted to choose to attack first, as they do have the choice, having lost the previous map. They're running in with triple tank.
They are, but Ricky's already got 70% on ult, mate. That was a couple of head clicks, so watch Milky Man's health bar disappear. Not sure he realized he was getting his head hit, to be honest with you, mate.
It takes a while to go on through. There's the amplification matrix already. A lot of damage means a lot of healing, Jules.
A lot of damage going on to the Summer Team Gigantti, but Immortality Field doing a lot of work for them right now. Turret gets taken out by Davin's turret onto Engineer's turret. Say that 5 times quick. Clockwork Vendetta have the Blizzard, though. They throw it out as soon as someone's hooked in. No way you're escaping now, Zuppe. Davin and Zappis are going to get caught up. Should be a fairly easy win now as Engineer just runs rampant in the front lines. Milky Man ain't going anywhere too quick either. Get the kill.
Again.
Oh, Moose! Why? Come on, man.
Be
Engineer's already got 1 in this series.
Come on, bruv. Why are you doing this? Engineer's almost got himself that Molten Core. Like we said, it's such a good zoning tool, and now that turret's going to have a little bit of motion attached to it. What was really cool there, though, is that Ricky is so accurate with these walls. He actually managed to put the wall down on top of the amplification matrix, making sure there was no way to see it without destroying any of the wall pillars, meaning that they didn't get any use out of it.
There's the early Dragon Strike. Milky Man taking a whole bunch of damage. Has to back off. Zappis does lose his mech, though, which is kind of a disaster. Same with Leaf actually going down as well.
Peek that?
And because Gigantti do not have any mercy on their team, any mercy players in chat, Lilbo won't be able to resurrect him. Has the amp matrix for next fight, but that does really just halt the push there and then.
Well, Team Gigantti are at least going to be moving in with a significant ult bank. They've almost got 4 ready to go if Davin manages to get this Molten Core, which he will take over to with passive charge. See Engineer, he's putting his baby up on the high ground, wants to protect it. But he still has this Molten Core ready to go, and he can deny so much space from Team Gigantti. Milky Man got hooked in, he's been walked behind.
That was an instant hook. I don't think the shield even went down. Whole hog as well, thrown on top. Might as well make it sting on the exit. Now Team Gigantti, they build up ults, Harry, but they can't even actually get through the initial doors without Clockwork Vendetta picking them off. And Clockwork Vendetta have 6 ults as well.
5 now.
5 ults even, sorry, but Moose loses his.
Yeah, but Moose using that there gave time for Scripper and Monk Marder to get there. So now Team Gigantti's ultimate advantage they're building up to is gone. They got the Supercharger and the Dragon Strike already. I'm going to call that one a little bit early. Jaws maybe a little bit too keen there, as now Team Gigantti can make a rotation, but Clockwork Vendetta will be more than ready for them.
All those beams coming out. Whole lot of extra damage. Speaking of extra damage, there's Team Gigantti's Supercharger, as you do see Clockwork backing off. A nice Eat and Blizzard, though, as Ricky tried to go for something rather sneaky.
Well, you're going to need to be a little bit more sneaky. They've invested so much from Team Gigantti
Milky
already.
Man yet again gets picked off by Moose. Hooked on in, instantly killed, and now no main tank available or frontward shield for Team Gigantti. Davin ends up going down, and Clockwork Vendetta continuing to hold. Gigantti have 50 seconds remaining to break first point and actually just find a tick.
Oh, Ricky got hooked in, but the squad was there, saving Private Ricky, not going to let anything happen to him, and his ice block. Clockwork Vendetta invested everything. Team Gigantti still have the 2 that they didn't use in the previous fight. Both of them are tank ultimates. They've got the shield breaker, they've got the team evaporated, but they're opening up with this. Evolving on Monk Marder.
Really early self-destruct, but it kills Monk Marder. Perfect pick. Team Gigantti now pushing forward with that whole hog behind the shield. No one's taking him out. Not just yet anyway. Failed hook coming through, but now it's just about pushing yourselves on the point, buying as much space as possible.
And Clockwork need to re-engage. Engineer's turret is down, but Moose is here with a whole hog, and the amplification matrix is there.
Moose is going down so low, but they can't end up picking him off. And now Clockwork Vendetta have to scurry back to the point, but Scrip is already dead. Leaf manages to find the kill. Moose can do all the damage he wants in the world, but instantly gets dragged in. Turret finished him off in the end, and Davin finds himself a nice 2k. OT may have been triggered, but Gigantti ends up capping first.
And Zappis there demonstrating the value of the Diva against this particular composition, eating the Hulks as they came in. An early pick from Clockwork Vendetta could have ended it all. And Davin, what is your hero pool, my man? I don't know. He's on the Torbjorn now. He can put his turret down on the cart. It's a great place for it to be, so why not? He and Engineer are going to be dueling out. Same for Monkmada and Leaf. Both of them are going to have Dragon Strikes available. And you know that the Dragon Strike onto the cart here is probably going to be the primary play for Monkmada to try and make sure that they aren't going to have that additional healing, as well as dislodge the...
Speaking of Dragon Strikes, there's one right on top of Engineer. Pops the overload, though, and dashes forward. Ricky's going to throw out the Blizzard. Isn't going to get eaten this time around, and that's a couple of people frozen up on the side. Ant Matrix dealt with rather easily, and a wall to block the escapes of Milky Man and Zappis. He's going to go down. Turret's doing most of the damage at this point. And now Team Gigantti have to recontest this payload, but this is what Clockwork Vendetta do best. They defend.
It's so simple when you look at it that way. Ricky just goes in for a manual freeze using his left click onto Zappis. No defense matrix available. Put down that Blizzard. Everyone gets frozen on up. And they also managed to time out the Fortify as well, making sure that wasn't available. Oh no!
He went straight over the wall! He disappeared, and before the wall came down, he was already dead. There's the ult from Davin as well, covering the payload in the Molten Core. Moose is also going to fall. Scarippa can't really do a whole bunch here. Engineer can at least get a little bit of time on the payload, stalling out for a bit of extra. But the issue is now Clockwork Vendetta. They now have to dislodge Gigantti once again, but they're going to run into a Supercharger and an Ant Matrix.
Speaking of running jaws, Gigantti are running out of time. 50 seconds on the clock. They've got the ults to make this one work. The Amplification Matrix, it was so good last time. What a hook! Oh my lord. Monkmada, that's a tilter.
Davin's going to find the kill, and now Supercharger coming down, forced out on the side of Clockwork Vendetta. Engineer unloading the Molten Core, but gets instantly taken care of. There's no way you're going to get past this one. Not with the Immortality Field as well. Davin and Little Bow get their names on the kill feed also as Team Gigantti. They're going to get second, but they're not going to have a whole bunch of time here to push on to third.
Little Bow's just getting so much value, and the poke comes through, but Monkmada needs to build up that Dragon Strike. It's just Little Bow farming. Engineer, he's going to try and build himself up yet another one of those Molten Cores and just impede the progress of the cart. 1 minute and 30 on the clock for Team Gigantti. They're making good time considering that they did have to take point one basically in overtime. And Clockwork Vendetta, they need some semblance of stability here. Team Gigantti just snowballing forward. Clockwork Vendetta may have to invest heavily in this next fight just so they can have that defensive advantage again where their comp's in such a good spot. The same is wanted for Team Gigantti. They want Davin to always be in control of engagements.
Dragon Strike on the side. Doesn't quite find anybody, but still buys a little bit of space. And it does mean Milky Man have to reapply his shield. There's a self-destruct in the back, instantly killing off Engineer and his turret. But Ricky once again jumping down from the skyline. Ends up using that Blizzard, killing off Leaf, in fact. The car's still going to move here, but Clockwork Vendetta, they got the priority spawns, Harry, and Gigantti, they've already got 3 people on this payload.
Davin did so much to save the frozen members. He bathed them in the defense matrix, no headshots coming through. Come on, Moose, that's for ground, not an enemy. But Team Gigantti, they're never undermanned. They don't have a spawn advantage. They don't want to take this fight with 40 seconds left. So we're going to back off, coalesce, come back again. They could go through high ground if they wanted, but I doubt that's going to be the case. Why? Come on, you've got to coordinate these a little bit better, my dudes.
Really early hook. That wall being thrown out, plus the whole hog. A lot of ults being invested here. I mean, that whole hog especially for blowing people off the payload. And what they've done before is put the wall up behind them so there's a backboard for Moose to fire into. The hook straight onto Moose. He gets dragged on in. Scarippa's going to be able to heal him just a little bit as both Molten Cores are traded as well.
And now territory being denied for both teams, but Scarippa's up in the air. There's for Dragon Strike, and it's going to deny even more space.
Milky Man had to run onto the lava now, and he instantly gets taken down. Nice little hook onto Moose, but it disconnects. Whole kill feed shining whites for Clockwork Vendetta. OT's going to tick down. The kills come a lot faster than I think Gigantti are actually anticipating. As soon as that Dragon Strike comes through, you're like, well, where do I walk? Do I walk a Molten Core? Do I walk into Dragons? We've only got one healer. Okay, I'm dead. And then the rest of the team just fell around a little bit.
I gotta admit, maybe Moose's hook on that second point was to try and like be off kilter and off tempo with the Hulk, because people expect the whole hook, so they try and do things to mitigate that coming in. But I feel like hooking at nothing is not the ideal. Instead, just go for the Hulk, then get the damage, and then go for the hook. I'm not sure. Obviously, teams are trying to break up the tempo of what is expected of them. You know that Team Gigantti have been studying Clockwork Vendetta's faults. They've been studying their strategy, trying to figure out how everything works. And they're doing a pretty good job of playing around these Hulk hooks, but occasionally it's just unbeatable.
Now Team Gigantti on the defense. There's a very, very clear win condition now for Clockwork Vendetta. They don't even need to complete. Just drag that cart all the way to the doors just before third. They're going to probably do the same thing, run Engineer on the tour. But like I said before, I wouldn't have been too surprised to see double sniper here. You can leverage that security hut rather easily. If you're Monk Marder, you can either kind of peek your head through the doors, or you can grapple up on the palm tree or the building to get a nice early snipe out on somebody. Because you've seen Lilbo run the Baptiste a lot on the defense. He is going to choose the Mercy this time around, but he gets those amp matrices online so fast. And I think currently, he's probably one of the best Baptistes we've seen in EU.
Yeah, and good Baptistes can be a very rare commodity that you want to try and exploit. Lilbo on the defense, but he wants that Mercy because he wants for second chances. He knows the Clockwork Vendetta, especially Monk Marder, very capable of getting these picks. Moose and Minimi, you're less looking for a resurrection because often people are obviously dragged into the enemy team, so they're not in a fantastic position to be resurrected, and that's why Halt Hook can also be so valuable. Because in a fight where you're just sort of like posturing at the beginning, it can create a scenario where the resurrection has no value.
The Halt instantly blocked off there by the wall. May's been doing very, very good jobs at checking these Halts. If there's no Diva, you need to delay it somehow. Speaking of Halt, speaking of hooks, insta-kill onto Zuppe. Davin's turret's going to fall as well. Good start for Gigantti, but they do lose Engineer in the process. Scripper can go for the res. They hear the sound of Littlebo going for it as well. Instantly Zappis falls as Moose hooks him in, and they're trapped on the wrong side of the wall now. Moose just going to town on the rest of Gigantti, but Davin and Leaf coming back with vengeance are going to pick up a couple of kills of their own.
And this is what I talked about on the first point, but we never actually got to see it. Leaf playing up on the high ground with the juice. Absolutely dismantling Clockwork Vendetta. You can play around the enemy's shields because they're not quite as effective when in a vertical plane of attack. And Davin just hitting shot after shot. You can see it's reflected in the ultimate charge for himself and for Leaf. Nothing being gained from the Halt Hook. Now Clockwork Vendetta want to reset, try again. They've got the Valkyrie ready to go, but the same for Lilbo. So we're likely going to see both ultimates used, try and cancel each other out.
Easy pick. Right, on to Ricky. Thank you very much. Delivered to your door. Now Gigantti sitting on some more ults. They can just hold on to these for almost eternity. They wait for Clockwork Vendetta to make their attack, maybe with a Dragon Strike to open things up, but Mini-Me so far away, only 70%, hadn't got the damage down like Milky Man has, who's only 4% away from a Supercharger.
There's the Halt Hook coming through. No kill, no connection. Monk Marder waiting to see the next shield come down before he lays down the Dragon Strike. There it is.
He was revealed, so that's almost an easy escape for Team Gigantti, but they still lose Leaf in the process. David's going to make sure they put down the Molten Core. Easy res for Littlebo.
Oh, that's unlucky. Managed to catch it on the fence, I think. Disconnecting the hook early. Moose and Minimi now going to move forward. And there's the big dragon.
Halt into the dragons. Ricky goes low. Has to use the ice block, but now he's got the blizzard. And Leaf actually going down. It's pretty bad news. I don't think they expected that kill at all. Blizzard going through that shield. Rather easy, and now Ricky just taking over the game. That's going to be Davin going down as well. There's a Blizzard going off too from the side of Team Gigantti, but can they actually capitalize on it? Moose is frozen on the payload, but Mini-Me's got the shield. They got the backup as well as Scarippa in the back line, and that'll be Gigantti falling on first, and Clockwork Vendetta getting the payload in motion.
Just Clockwork and the boys all coalescing on the cart. Now, Engineer can put down his turret here. They can have a defensive bastion moving on forward. That's where they want to be. The shield is moving. You now have an inherent advantage when it comes to these engagements, Jaws, because the shield will move with your team as you're on the objective, rather than you having to time your movements as a team around how the Arista shield is going to work. A good usage of the wall. Will deny any hooks coming through. Monk Marder still gets a bit of poke, but he doesn't need it. He has ready to go for Dragon Strike, and he lets it loose.
Sonic Arrow on the shield. You know where he is. Halt straight onto Zuppe. Ricky helps find the kill. They're going to get the res off, though, so at least that's down. But Lilbo steals the ult. There it goes. He's going to use it. Going to help someone on the side of the wall. But Milky Man, he can reach him in time. Couldn't dash over it, of course, unless he super jumped, but couldn't make it. Monk Marder is going to fall, but with the main tank going down, it's such easy pickings now for Clockwork Vendetta. You can see Davin just doing some little bit of acrobatics to try and get onto the high ground and scurry away with the rest of his team.
Make-up parkour is an impressive thing. Leaf is going to manage to get away, though, and it's very important that he does. He needs to be present in this next fight, not only for his damage, but for his Dragon Strike. Monk Marder wants to take him out of the equation, though.
Oh, wow, Zuppe with the hook from the skyline ends up taking out Monk Marder, punishing the overextension, and now Clockwork Vendetta have to run into the supercharger.
It looks like Clockwork Vendetta, they just want to wait for their boy. They don't want to take this engagement right now, but there it is. They're going to come in with the wall. They've got Scarippa on this Mercy, and Monk Marder swapped over to the Widowmaker for a big flank.
Zappis has been so good with these walls, man. These defensive ones working out so well for him. Blizzard going to come out from Ricky straight on top of Zuppe, but the defensive dragons, and even more of an offensive use of the Blizzard there coming out from Zappis. They didn't spot him on the sidelines. Frozen in place was Ricky and the rest of the team, and easily cleaned up.
Milky Man's up, they're frozen, but they were frozen in front of a cart where they could contest. Clockwork Vendetta couldn't hit the headshots. Ricky wanted to. But the second he went in, tried to make it work, he's just going into a hungry dragon. And guess what? He could use a few ice cubes, especially if he's here in Berlin. It's absolutely boiling right now, Jaws. And Davin's ready to turn up the heat even more. The Molten Core ready to go. Deny the space away from Clockwork Vendetta and deny the time as well. 1 minute and 45 seconds remain as Clockwork Vendetta want to take themselves to match point in this series.
Davin's got the Molten Core. Remember, he's used it defensively more often than not. Unless you can hold people into it or even hook people over like we were talking about on Paris. McMurdo's trying to find the flank.
That he is. Maybe he can try and get a surprise angle here. Looking for Lil Bo. Hits a body shot.
Doesn't quite get it. Davin using that Molten Core pretty early on the payload to deny some space. Moose ends up getting taken down. A res will come through, but Scarippa was standing on the lava. Instantly killed off. Minime's going to donate himself as well, so no ult charge goes over towards Gigantti. Clockwork Vendetta have 1 minute now in the time bank. By the time they do regroup, Team Gigantti sitting strong.
It wasn't quite the economy they wanted, hoping they could get a little bit more out of Gigantti, maybe even just from Molten Core. That's all they're going to get. Turret now in motion, going to be a little bit harder to hit because it is, of course, moving across those vertical planes. Minime's already put his shield down, but it's going to go down just as quickly. Moose is catching all the poke. This is going to allow Gigantti to build up towards those ultimates. You know, Zappis, he's looking for that Blizzard. He and Ricky know, but it's so important when playing that objective, especially in these close proximities. Engineer. Oh my, are we going to see the Molten Core from the sky? Is it going to rain fire? We're going to have our best Pompeii impression here on Hollywood.
There it is. He's raining the lava down, but hit a lot of it actually on the roof and gets dragged on in. They're still surviving as well. Perfect pop from Littlebo to keep everybody alive and well in the fight. That Blizzard's going to land on the cart too, halting Moose's ultimate. Team Gigantti not out of this just yet as they lay down the supercharger, but Clockwork had got one too. Ricky ends up going down though, and it looks like Vendetta are on the retreat, but they've only got 10 seconds remaining, Harry, to get back on this payload.
They need to, and McMurdo is down, so is Mini-Me. The instant res, he couldn't get the kill.
Davin got it on Moose as well. Mini-Me's back on this payload, but I think it's all done and over. Davin's going to cover the floor in the green stuff, and OT ticking through. Team Gigantti kill off Engineer and get match point in the series.
The best way is to impact the wall, the full splat from our favourite Swedish Engineer. And, well, Gigantti, they claim the match point. They are looking good as we go in towards Havana, which will be the next map in our pool. We're going over to Escort. Once again, it will be the choice of Clockwork Vendetta as to what side they're going to be on first. But right now, Davin, he's going up against the Torbjorn. And he's looking real good. He
is looking real good, and so are the rest of Gigantti. They're on match point in the series right now. Havana is just after the break. Hey guys, welcome back. And at the start of the season, Harry, if I told you we were going to see Torb, May, Orisa, Hog, Hanzo mirror matches, would you have believed me? Would anybody have actually believed me?
Yeah, we're just going to see triple projectile mirror matches between our two top teams. And somehow, like, if you said to me a year ago, okay, Davin's going to play Torb, Mirror, and Contenders, I'd be like,
I don't think so.
you're crazy. You're crazy, Jules.
Press X to down. But you're seeing it right here. Gigantti are on 2-1 as well in the series. This is going to be the game, this is going to be the map where they can take the series and allow themselves to that first place position. Clockwork Vendetta don't want to get that to happen, though. They need to win Havana, Harry, to take it onto a map for number 5. But it scares me. If they do go onto map 5, Control is one of their weaker game modes, and it doesn't look so strong for them. But Havana, again, a very defensively orientated map. We've already seen what they can do on Paris. How is this going to unfold?
Well, we're likely going to see some turrets on payloads, is what I'm anticipating, Jules, because I think Davin, right now, he's feeling himself when it comes to the Torb matchup against Engineers. Like, okay, you think you can come into my Contenders and think that you're the biggest Torb over here? Nah, I'm Finnish Mangachu, baby. he's lining up for Torb 1v1s next year at the homestand games. But Havana, we also see that there's this long sightline at the beginning of point A where you have a choice. You can either hold back in the gallery and have the long sightline where you can do a lot of damage, and you can potentially hold for a while longer by waiting to engage onto the point with ultimates, or you can try and drain the enemy's time bank early by just doing the old Rialto-style spawn camp, using the payload as physical cover, because the shape of the payload on Rialto does lend itself quite well to you being able to protect yourself and move around it in a way that makes you incredibly hard to dislodge.
Well, here we go, Gigantti on the defense. It was Clockwork's time to decide where they wanted to start, so they're going offense. Rather classic of VU, just want to make sure they can set the pace car for the rest of the map. We'll see what Gigantti want to do on the defense, though, because this very specific point here on first, you want to make sure you can hold them at the gate. We see it a whole bunch. We see it on maps like Dorado. And why not? You've got so much time to then run back for another engagement, especially if you hold it with a comp like this. You've got GOATs, basically, but it's May. We're going back to old CIS Hope versions of GOATs. And you can just hold people at the door, and you can wall people off, and you can isolate people like Mini-Me, which Gigantti have been doing just so well.
Hop into my TARDIS. We're going to hop back about 6 weeks, Jaws. The first time we saw Clockwork Vendetta play, they did play on Havana as well against HSL. And HSL brought out this composition, but instead of an Ana, they had a Moira for the additional healing against the DPS. So I wonder if Ana will work as well. Sope is known as a fantastic Ana player, so there's potential that this could work out incredibly well. The Holt Hook is going to be easily shielded. Milky Man, because everyone's together, they're very much denying the potential for Holt Hook, because just press right click, bro.
Yeah, plus they have the defense matrix as well to absorb all that damage coming in. Can't absorb that, though. Zappa's getting taken extremely low, almost gets taken out. But the rest of Gigantti are doing the work necessary to push Vendetta back. Ricky, Moose, and Mini-Me will end up going down. Mumada still doing a good job of getting up to an ult here. It's only 10% away.
Holt Hook can be avoided by this comp, but Holt Dragons is a little bit harder. And Monkmada almost has that ready to go. You can see how much space is being claimed by Milky Man right here. He's done so much damage already, 80% of the way towards his ultimate.
Engineer's trapped on the wrong side of the wall. He's instantly going to get taken out, but at least Tridd, as Davin was actually slow on the sideline. It's in the spawn, but he still gets a kill. Scarippa was anti-naded as well. Dragon Strike coming out. There's no one there, unfortunately, friend. Clockwork Vendetta still stuck in spawn. As the shadow from Milky Man came out, and they got Nano coming online, plus the Blizzard.
Milky Man has no chill, just as well, because Leaf's going to be applying it. The Blizzard's almost ready to go, but he's under huge pressure. Engineer just running in.
Nice little hook. Nice nade, though, coming back in, but Moose will easily clean up Zappe. I want to see if Leaf is going to invest this ult. I can't imagine he will, as the rest of the team are going to die rather swiftly. It's all about stalling on payload at this point. But like I said, you hold this close to the spawn doors, because it's been almost 2 minutes and they haven't actually moved it an inch.
Yeah, now they've moved it an inch. They've moved it several meters, in fact. Engineer wants to set up his turret right here. Oh, yeah, put it in the back of a pickup truck. Then you can just drive it to the next point. Easy clap, easy transportation. The U-Haul of Havana. Ricky ready to go. Blizzard versus Blizzard. It's going to be a tale of two snow globes to move in here, but Team Gigantti maybe a little bit less prepared to try and make this work. They don't have a Holt that Mini-Me can use.
Yeah, Engineer a little bit scared, though, popping the overload to get away in time. There's the Molten Core being launched downtown. Milky Man taking a whole bunch of damage, has to walk away. That beat's going to come through just in time, though. Blizzard as well, though, freezing in place. Easy headshots for Monkmada. The payload is still moving, but they are still contesting. Clockwork Vendetta have got one more ult in the bank though for this next fight. Sleep onto Leaf, so he can't do all of anything as well. And Gigantti are going to fall.
I love how Engineer had to jump and shoot to hit the headshots onto the frozen Reinhardt. But Team Gigantti invested reasonably heavily into that fight as well. They used a Blizzard, they used a Sound Barrier, and that's going to be one of their primary tools to try and avoid the damage of incoming ultimates like Monkmada with this Dragon Strike. Luckily, Team Gigantti, because they have a Reinhardt, they're more mobile. They're more easily able to avoid the incoming Dragon Strike because they're not relying on a stationary shield like an Orisa.
We had to guess it was a 50-50 choice. There's the Holt as well into the Dragons. Milky Man taking so much damage already, and that turret doing a lot of work too. An anti-nade on Milky Man and Zappis. They're going to have to play scared, but Zappis using the ult. The shadow goes into the shield.
The shield!
Is that self-destruct? It was so perfect from Mini-Me, and all this time they had that supercharger down as well, but somehow Gigantti coming back in this fight as they take care of the Orisa.
You ever just press E and mitigate 2 tank ultimate shawls? Because Mini-Me does sometimes. Skaripper, I didn't even notice he was on the Ana, but he's got the Nano Boost ready to go. You can put that on Engineer maybe while he's using Overload, and you can also put it onto Moose, who's being slapped. You can go for a Nano Whole Hog, but there's a lot of mitigation potential. You can get the disengagement, you can use for shield, but Clockwork Vendetta running low on options, running low on time. 20 seconds remain. This has got to be their make or break fight. Milky Man doesn't yet have the Earth Shatter, cannot get around Mini-Me's shield, but there it is. The Nano Whole Hog.
It's blowing everybody back, but not too much damage is getting applied. However, that Molten Core is going to buy a little bit more space. Blizzard's going to come through from Team Gigantti, and a counter one, in fact, on the back line, but that Shadow's going to hit the ground, and instantly Moose falls. They trade 2 for 1 as Milky Man ends up going down as well, and Milky Man and Ricky just turning the back line to mincemeat. The Sound Barrier is going to come through as Skaripper ends up going down, so now Gigantti with a healing advantage. They just need to sustain and wait for people to come back, but Monkmada wants to end this right here and cap the point in OT. The ball is coming back from Milky Man. He makes it ever so slightly late. He gets frozen up and taken care of. But all of that time wasted. They got 2 minutes and 20 seconds now to move it through the warehouse.
No Pilot Diva clutch this time. Monkmada's going absolutely mad. Engineer's going to be moving forward again on that Torbjorn after his respawn. It's pretty close. Doesn't have long to go. Short legs will carry him. And Davin, Graviton Surge, ready to go. What do Clockwork Vendetta have to try and defend themselves? They'll have a shield placement from Mini-Me, but don't have a support ultimate to speak of. They don't really have a defensive thing like an Earth Shatter either. Maybe they can use Dragon Strike to try and waylay people who are coming in. If Monkmada stays separate from his team here, you could make sure that Milky Man cannot get towards him.
Graviton Surge coming out near the payload. Milky Man once again gets hooked in. He's taken so low, but somehow staying alive.
Davin's
Dragons
dead.
With the hold, almost insta-killing the Zarya. Nano Boost though in the front line. That self-destruct's going off as well. Mini-Me ain't going to survive long, and neither's the rest of Clockwork Vendetta. If Milky Man can get his hands on him, he was Nano charged straight through the team, wiping the floor with him. 1 minute and 30 seconds now remaining in the time bank of Clockwork Vendetta.
Clockwork Vendetta, they've got 4 ultimates ready to go, but there's only one that matters. It's Milky Man with this Earth Shatter. He could even get a solo Shatter onto either Skaripper, Monkmada, or Engineer and potentially win this one out, but there are so many things that could potentially mitigate it. Cannot afford to get hooked, cannot do it into the Orisa shield. That's why he's going to be watching Mini-Me's shield placement so carefully. Wants to get the optimal placement as Engineer comes around the back with a Molten Core.
Yeah, he sends out a few.
They've walled in.
But they have walled him in at least. At least Leaf's on the high ground though. He's thankful for that. Blizzard's coming through, and that supercharger as well. That's a whole heap of damage that Gigantti can't afford to take. Lil Bo and Davin are going to go down. The Shatter hits the ground, but Moose was there to check the Rhine. Clockwork Vendetta, they all press Q at the same time. They end up managing to wipe Team Gigantti, but they can still come in for another fight. This point is taking so long for them to get moving once again, and Leaf has Blizzard as well.
I'm not a fan of the Earth Shatter Jaws, I will tell you that much. They could have used it to win out this next fight if you're taking advantage of Mini-Me's shield placement. But now Skaripper, they can go for Nano Whole Hog, and you know that Moose is ready to just put them all into this corner. They're not even going to be able to touch. Here he goes.
He's going to do it. There's the Blizzard coming out, though. He's going to Whole Hog on the point. No, he's not going to kill anybody. He gets walled off at least to help him, but that Blizzard's still doing that ticking damage, and he ends up going down to Little Bo. They use that Sound Barrier to re-engage back into the fight, and now there's only 10 seconds remaining. Engineer's going to be able to kill off Zappis, but that's maybe all he can do. The Dragon Strike through the payload, but Milky Man's already on the other side with a Nano. He's swinging freely, but eventually pushed back.
Molten Core coming out. Milky Man's in the middle. You can't afford to be there, son.
But already Engineer and Mini-Me are going to go down. It's It's desperation play from Clockwork Vendetta as they jump back on the point of the Wrecking Ball. But Ricky once again coming in clutch, finding 2 kills as Clockwork Vendetta once more in OT get this payload to the second point.
It just wasn't clean enough. Everyone put down and put up again by the pile driver. That will be a completion of the second point of Havana as we're moving over to a fortress. Clockwork Vendetta, they are clawing, they are grasping their way back into this match. They want to take us to map 5. They want to take us to Ilios. They want to claim that #1 seed over Team Gigantti. We're ready to stop them. It's going to be an Earth Shatter. It's going to be a self-destruct. Easily combined, but Minimi has blocked both with 1 shield before. He's got to be able to put it down again. They've taken note.
A self-destruct. Oh, it gets hooked in, so it just lands on the shield. Perfect use of the hook by Moose. 1 ultimate down for Gigantti. They still got to run into the Blizzard. Speaking of Blizzard, instantly comes out as Milky Man tries to shatter someone in the front line, gets caught up on the wall also. That's not really where you wanted to put that leaf. Isolating Milky Man eye in the sky. Nice little hook on the Zaya. This should be a fairly easy cleanup as well from Clockwork, but Team Gigantti aren't done just yet. They're going to run straight in. A nano boost onto Engineer to make sure he survives, as well as that Blizzard coming out. They're buying so much space as Mini-Me ends up going down. So much was invested in that fight for Clockwork Vendetta. They thought they won it. Even the nano on Engineer to try and make him survive. But Gigantti are able to corral back on the payload.
They've bought the space jaws. They're so close to Clockwork Vendetta spawn. It's like attacking the end of assault point right here. And now 15 seconds remain. Clockwork Vendetta moving forward. They've got the Molten Core. They've got the Supercharger.
It's coming out. Monkmana's got the Dragons as well. The Holt around the side, but Leaf's going to wall himself off. Monkmana, if he gets checked, if this gets eaten, it could be all over. Milky Man already goes down, though, to that Molten Core. And everybody's going to split up. That Dragon splitting the entire team. They get halted into it as well. Too much damage for Gigantti to deal with. But again, they still get more chances to defend. And now OT is ticking.
At least Gigantti's investment in that previous fight did mean that Clockwork Vendetta are now going to be forced into overtime. If they can get them off the point, this will be a win for Team Gigantti. But they don't really have the tools to do it. They don't have the grab. They don't have a Blizzard. And Moose can keep everyone off himself by using that whole hog. He needs to be careful not to be frozen. This time, though, Skripper's ready to apply the nano boost. A lot of damage is coming Team Gigantti's way as they drop down, but they've been blocked off by the wall. More meters.
Nano boost on the whole hog again, but it's instantly going to get walled off. Still damage going through, and Zappas at least falls low. He goes for the Hail Mary hook on the Ice Cube May, but he's not going to be able to find anything. At least the Engineer finds a kill. Self-destruct high in the sky, though. Mini-Me gets ejected! Oh, from behind the shield, and Clockwork get off the point as well. What a perfect wall by Leaf. Lifts Mini-Me high in the sky. The self-destruct ends his life, and the round ends as well.
Unprecedented IQ, put on a pedestal and presented to the sun. Sorry, Icarus, not today. Burning up his Mini-Me. But still, Clockwork Vendetta, they are in a spot where they can definitely declare this a very winnable map, Jaws. Team Gigantti, they need to basically complete if they want to claim this series in a clean 3-1 fashion. If they don't, Clockwork Vendetta are going to drag us all to Greece. We're going to Ilios for our map 5. Team Gigantti, prepare for their attack.
But first, they got to get through Clockwork Vendetta's defense. It's going to be a tall order. It was so good as well. I wonder if Clockwork are going to hold up close. I can't imagine they are. It's going to be, I think, high ground play for them. Maybe they put Monkmana on the Widow too. That sightline for the Widow, especially on first, rolling that cart up that small slope could be so deadly.
Could it be?
Or maybe
For
they
a
are
turn
going
of
to hold
double
it.
flex support.
Yeah, they're going to hold it close potentially. I haven't seen Monkmana on his Zen in a little while.
Yeah, usually Clockwork Vendetta, they are known for playing double flex support, especially during their Open Division run, which I believe was on a previous patch. They had usually Zytor playing on the Zenyatta, and they'd have Monkmana playing on the Ana, but it seems like they prefer this particular setup with this support lineup, which are currently running. And this could be a preview of what we may see from Clockwork Vendetta in 2-2-2 lock, with their DPS being the Torbjorn and the May, or as I like to call it, a Comp of Ice and Fire.
Very aptly named, Harry.
And
Well done. I'm glad you came up with it, sir.
Oh, yeah. George R.R. Martin, definitely not sending me cease and desist letters.
Team Gigantti on their offense. They got solo healer as well, Little Bo. On the Baptiste once again. Remember how quickly he was able to charge these up. He's got 3 tanks to heal. We press shifts, he gets about 30% if they're damaged enough. It's going to be so easy for him to build this ult up.
And guess what? If you're running through these areas with very little physical cover available, it can be very difficult for Clockwork Vendetta to disengage. They have to give up so much space for this cart to move, and may even give up an entire fight worth of payload progress. Davin's looking for these picks. Everyone's going to avoid that halt, though. Great positioning from Gigantti. Still, the posturing is happening. Clockwork Vendetta have given away 50 meters for free. This could be the last fight of the point already.
Nice little hook on Little Bo, though. That will surely halt Gigantti for the time being. Just going to get a little bit more poke damage before they disembark from the payload. Lilbo's got 15% though, Harry, before he actually gets that Amp Matrix online.
Clockwork Vendetta have decided this 90-degree bend is where they want to make their stand and try and take us to that map 5, claim our #1 seed in Europe. Moose catches a couple of arrows coming through from Leaf, who's almost got himself ready to go with Dragon Strike. And he can also fly through the amplification matrix to do additional damage. Gigantti needs to choose where they make their engagement here. It's going to be all about where Lilbo places it down. There it is.
The Amp Matrix, yep.
There's so much cover in front of it. What can they shoot at?
I'm not sure what they can shoot at. Maybe Ricky's in the front line. Engineer's kind of peeking around the corner as well. Doesn't want to get insta-headshot by Davin. He's going to take his turret out instead.
He's going for Davin.
From behind, though. Davin's going to have to be careful, but now the sights have been activated. He's going to have to go for something quick. Transcender's coming through as well so early. A lot of ults being popped from Clockwork Vendetta. Almost in desperation, it looks like. His team Gigantti, they're just going to back off from this one. In fact, they take a life with him. Ricky's going to go down.
Yeah, lack of pressure was applied there, and Clockwork Vendetta sort of just like broke to nothing, unfortunately. We'll have to see if Davin can get a pick. He wants to open this one up. Hasn't been so successful thus far, but he's got Monk Martyr in his sights.
Double tapping Monk Martyr. That's the pick you want, but Moose coming back. He's got the ult and Engineer on the sidelines, takes him out. That's a 2-for-2 trade, but still Clockwork Vendetta down a healer.
Got yourself an engineering problem? He'll fix it for you. Team Gigantti moving forward. The cart still continues to move. Zappis is sleeping on the job, but right now he's earned himself a power nap as Mini-Me comes in to contest the cart.
They at least let him to get on, but his life cut rather short, almost. That bio grenade's helping him stay alive. Blizzard coming through from Ricky, but he's instantly taken care of. Milky Man's already done the damage. That supercharger used fairly early, and no one from Clockwork Vendetta was in a point to actually kill it off. Davin instantly kills Engineer as well. The whole hog's going to blow everybody else back. No one can touch, and the payload completes on first, and now they have 4 minutes left.
That was a super smart halt into whole hog right there. They knew they could get a hook, but they knew that we'd already seen Mini-Me use his... Wait. Okay. I thought he used the supercharger for a second. Mini-Me use his Fortify, so they bring him up into the air, and then they just push him up against the doorway, knowing that they can just push the car in. Super smart objective play from Gigantti. They know they don't need to play for the kills if they can just get the addition to their time bank, speaking of which, is currently sitting at 3 minutes and 30. That's quite a luxurious time bank for this second point of Havana. They can take it slow, they can prepare and pick their fights, and now they have.
What a double headshot! Triple headshot by Davin! Mini-Me, Moose, and Ricky in the dust. No way you're going to rest that, and Engineer's going to go down as well.
Davin's on a mad one right now. Vlad doesn't give a damn what's coming for him. Amplification Matrix, by the way, that does 600 damage per headshot, so that Roadhog will just evaporate in front of you, as well as any other sort of like tank in the game, apart from maybe a Wrecking Ball. Leaf's ready to lock them down now as well. He's got the Dragon Strike ready to go, and he's caught Moose.
He now knows where they are. Moose was the only one that got revealed. Self-destruct gets pulled in yet again, so it is little to nothing, but Leaf finds 2 kills to start the fight off. McMurdo and Ricky are going to go down, and now they're cowering beneath this payload. The turret's going to fall as well. It's a clean sweep by Gigantti. They're going to net themselves additional time, now moving on to third. And remember, they only need 93 meters, Harry, or 93.2 to actually guarantee themselves first place in the groups.
And Clockwork Vendetta's comp is not that speedy, Jaws. That means they may have to give up a significant amount of space here. They may have to give up some meterage to allow themselves to be in a position to try and contest this. And Milky Man, look, he's already claimed that space. Davin and Leaf are behind him. They're going to be headshotting anyone who dares try to cross this bridge. You shall not pass. Not the ideal wall.
Nice double tap by Davin. Moose actually gets hooked in. You see now Molncore denying the space from Davin, but Moose has already gone down. They managed to get the resurrection off just in time, but Davin on the exit, Scarippa gets headshot. And now they have no healers once again. Davin popping off. McMartin's going to go down as well, and they've only got a couple of meters to go.
He's got the biggest brains. He's taking everyone else's. He's shooting them right through the head. As Team Gigantti want to claim their spot at the top of Europe as we move in towards playoffs. They haven't done it since Season 3. They want to do it again, and these plucky young upstarts in Clockwork Vendetta, they won't be the ones to stop them. Davin has an ultimate sightline right here as we move in towards the final fight, potentially. Clockwork Vendetta don't have the meters, and Team Gigantti do have the time.
3 minutes on the board. Gigantti have ults. Clockwork Vendetta just got their Blizzard online, and that might be the only thing that they need to hold this defense. Milky Man using his ult. In fact, everybody pressed Q at the same time. There's going to be Little Bo using their Amp Matrix, and so much damage coming through, but they were able to scurry for cover just for the time being.
Mini-Me still contesting the payload. Good job from him. Here comes the Blizzard.
Blizzard coming out. Holt into Blizzard, into Dragons. It looks so perfect, but the Blizzard was actually eaten by Zappis. At least they find the kill onto Leaf, which is going to hold Gigantti just for the time.
McMurdo wants to try and duel out here with Davin. He knows that they have control of the cart, so they can try and make this work. But Holt on the hook. Mini-Me's down. This could be everything that Team Gigantti need, because Davin has the sights. All the hooks are informed if Supe's moving forward, and that means less tanky members have to be the ones to contest. Ricky's already used himself.
They have to move forward though, Harry. Look at this. Supercharger now online for Clockwork Vendetta. If they get this off, they could continue to hold, but Littlebo has already get himself another amp matrix.
Good block there from Ricky. Managed to disconnect the hook. Once again, the amplification matrix is up. They're going to try and break those shields as they move forward with a self-destruct.
Self-destruct on top as well. Moose caught out. He gets instantly killed as well as Engineer's turret. And now Leaf taking kill a Minimi. He's going to get resurrected at least, but Gigantti can now claim the space. Milky Man moving forward, dragging Magmada back in. And another eaten all by Zappis. Magmada, nobody from Clockwork Vendetta can get their ults off. They're scurrying around the payload, but Gigantti smell blood in the water.
But Scaripri managed to get the pick onto Davin. Mini-Me is brawling out right here with Milky Man.
He's dead. He's long gone. Clockwork Vendetta in a heartbreaker. They're going to hold for the time being. Team Gigantti still have time in their bank to do this, and they only need a couple of meters.
And what is more Clockwork Vendetta, Jaws, than somehow an unbreakable push being beaten when your Widowmaker gets picked by the Mercy? Davin swaps over to Torbjorn, possibly in shame, wants to control this bridge with the turret right now, but he's already been picked off from long range for long range damage against that big fat hitbox, doing exactly what they want, and 1 minute is all that's left.
Yeah, they get a nice little stagger here as well onto Zappis. They do almost instantly kill him, but he does jump off the edge in the end. This is so dangerous. Danger zone now for Team Gigantti and Clockwork Vendetta. One fight's going to decide it all.
Well, the danger zone is just as well. They're going to be running down this highway. Milky Man all fours ahead. He has ready to go. The Supercharger catches a Sonic Arrow. That's going to reveal him and his team.
What a hook.
Revealed.
Immortality Field, though, coming out just in time to save the life of the Orisa. Ricky's got the Blizzard, though. They're going to run into an Amp Matrix. If they don't kill Ricky, it could be all over. Another hook's coming through. Zappis gets walled off and manages to negotiate himself around that payload.
There we go. Dragon Strike bringing Efron in. It's going to claim Zupe.
Yeah, but Monkmada's going to go down as well. They at least trade in that instance. There is direction available for Scripper, but Moose finds yet another kill. 10 seconds now remains. The whole hug has been unleashed. Clockwork Vendetta, they want to take this to a game number 5, and they might have just found it. Clockwork Vendetta now pushing forward. They got nothing to fear. They just kill Milky Man. It's going to be all over. He goes into ult form, but now the Blizzard is something they have to contend with. Moose on the flank, instantly killing off the Orisa. OT now ticking through. Team Gigantti can't touch the payload, and we're going to a map 5.
It's a rarity that you can call the main support the real hero, but Scaripper has earned it today. Get him a pick onto Davin in the corner, just comes out with the pistol. Face me down, Davin, at the crack of dawn. High noon, he was not prepared.
Game number 5, but we're going on to Control. Probably one of the more weaker game modes for Clockwork Vendetta. They managed to bring us all the way here with that 2-meter hold on Havana. Can they do it? It's going to be an upward hill battle.
It is going to be an uphill battle, but it's also going to be a well-centric battle, and that's exactly where Whole Hook is at one of its best sort of like performance metrics. So maybe this will be where Clockwork Vendetta can make things work.
It is going to be Ilios as our next map. Do not go anywhere, guys. You do not want to miss this. Hey guys, welcome back. Map number 5 coming on your screens very soon. Gigantti versus Clockwork Vendetta. And this is the series that will determine who takes first place in our group stages today. Who'd have thought it? Clockwork Vendetta coming in with an interesting comp and an interesting kind of play style, and they might just take first here in groups.
And like we all wanted, it's a barn burner of a series. Going over to map 5 is going to be Ilios, which is our tiebreaker. Previously, Clockwork Vendetta have lost this tiebreaker against HSL, but still, it's a very good map in terms of its geometry. We may see McMurdo trying to go toe-to-toe with Davin again when it comes to trying to play those Widows on Ruins. Ruins is, of course, historically one of the most famous Widow maps we have in the game, along with potentially like Dorado 2nd or Gibraltar 1st.
Ilios is a bit of an interesting one as well because there is an element of randomness when it comes to what map comes up first and what map you might not play if the enemy team does 2-0 you. I mean, Well is probably going to be their best play here. Ruins a little bit less so. You can kind of hold up on the point, but Davin has just been so fire on the Widow. You saw it in that last game that he really wanted to win. He wanted to end it right there. That quad kill in the factory setting looks so good. He is definitely on fire right now. It's going to be up to McMurdo to check it.
Yeah, I wonder if Lighthouse is going to be potentially the weakest for Clockwork Vendetta here, because we know that Gigantti are a lot more flexible as a team. They can just flex over to Clockwork Vendetta's comp and basically go even with where these guys are specialized, but they've also got the 3-3 in their wheelhouse. We saw that hold for a long time. At the start of Havana, they managed to burn about 1 minute and 45 seconds of Clockwork Vendetta's clock, for want of a better word. We are going to be starting off on Well. This is likely where Clockwork Vendetta have a huge advantage because they are so proficient in Holt-Hook combinations, and Mini-Me's a very good Orisa, definitely one of the biggest horse specialists we have.
Oh, the unkillable Engineer, please pick Reaper. I know you won't. Of course you're going to pick Engineer. We are going on to Well, so like I said before, and like you just said, right? It's probably the best place to be, but that's what I want to see. I'm looking at Lil B, Little Bo right now. I want to see him on this Baptiste. That amplification matrix does so much work on these control points, especially one that has basically one entrance that most people like to carry around when you set up that Orisa shield.
And not only does it have one entrance shield, it has 0 physical cover. The only change in the central point is the hole in the middle, and you can't exactly go and take cover in there because you're not going to be coming back out. And also, this is one of the best points for Torbjorn as well. It's one of the first places we saw it in Overwatch League. Defran bringing it out on his debut with the Atlanta Rain all of those months ago in Stage 1. Already, though, that's a great wall to put Milky Man up into the sky away from his shield.
Yeah, he's going to take a lot of excess damage that I didn't really want to take. Immortality Field's going to get used, though. You can see they're actually holding a little bit of a different place. Not the classic solo queue style of just on main, but Gigantti's still taking a heck of a lot of damage. Halt into hook. There's the amp. Oh, dear. Mini Beast health bar just disappeared. Gigantti are going to control the point as well as they had to rest the main tank.
And one of the great things about Amplification Matrix is it helps everyone else build ults as well.
Zappis again denying these Dragon Strikes. He's checking McMurdo at every single possible corner, Harry.
The D.Va value is so much. He's eating the Holts as well. He can eat any incoming damage. Not that much, though.
Nice hook. Attempted hook as well by Zuff. They didn't quite get it. Another Amp Matrix coming through, but they're trapped on the wrong side of the wall once again. And something you spoke about earlier on, Ricky, his wall placements are so good. On top of the Amp Matrix, so you have to destroy the columns in order to actually use it. Point gets flipped over, but 32% still built up for Gigantti.
Yeah, it's a very finicky game when you want to obscure that Amplification Matrix, because you can't put it in front of the Amplification Matrix, because each of the pillars has 400 health. That will quickly go down when faced with double damage. And you don't want to get it on the other side either. So you want to try and put it directly on top so there's no way to try and shoot through it. Engineer and Ricky ready to lock down this point with Molten Core. And Molten Core's so deadly here, Jules, because there's so much available space on the point because you're all on these walkways around the well in the center. You can get so much coverage, and that's where Engineer really excels on the Torbjorn. His ultimate usage is sublime.
There's Molten Core by Davin. You see covering the back of the point. Mini-Me almost going down, but another ingenious use of the wall there by Ricky, elevating him up so he doesn't actually end up falling. Beautiful pick off by Leaf on the side. Going to be a lot of that goop being eaten on up by the D.Va, but now it's going to be up to Gigantti trying to reclaim space. Moose claims one in Leaf, but Leaf at the end of it all managed to kill off the only healer Clockwork Vendetta have. That Blizzard coming in handy though, as the rest of Clockwork Vendetta roundabout on Gigantti. Ricky again coming in clutch with the ult.
Lilbo thought he could clutch that one out as well using the Amplification Matrix, but no, it's Engineer finding 2 frozen members. in the opposite house to our lighthouse, and he manages to use his overload to deal a huge amount of damage to both Zuppe and Milky Man. Gets himself 60% of the way to his next ultimate. Team Gigantti in a good position for the next fight, though. They can use the supercharger from the Hung Hog to break down the shields and also potentially walls, and then Zappis can try and use his bomb, but we know that Moose likes to hook these bombs, waylay their path of motion to put them in a safe place.
Supercharger gets used. You can see Milky Man gets hooked. That little stun indicator. He's pulled in, dropped down the well, and now Supercharger going to waste almost a little bit. Team Gigantti have to go again, but hey, Harry, they haven't got enough time. They got 90% on the side of Clockwork Vendetta. They got some ults coming online as well. Engineer, if he gets that Molten Core, could be all over.
Well, the good news is Skripper invested his Valkyrie there, so Team Gigantti won't have to deal with the additional healing, but may decide to engage once again with the self-stroke, but you can see that Zuppe is ready to try and hook it into an area, but no, it's forced out. They got the freeze.
Yeah, I mean, he had to use self-destruct there. He had to touch as well. Self-destruct kills the Engineer's turret, but so's Davin's going to go down as well. And now, from across the point, Zuppe using that whole hog, but the Dragons are going to lock him in place. Engineer deals with the Immortality field, but no one's going down just yet. Ricky high in the sky just manages to get back on the ground, and a Blizzard in the backline as well. Molten Core mixed on top two. No way you're surviving that if you're Team Gigantti. And Monk Marder has found 4. OT was there, and Clockwork Vendetta is going to claim well.
Oh, Gigantti, welcome to the Frozone. Ricky making them all very much frozen, and then they're getting steamed up with the Molten Core. It's a heated moment there for Gigantti. They're going to have to try and coalesce themselves, come back together on here. The Lighthouse is going to be our next point. This is very good for brawling compositions. Leaf could get a lot of value here with the Hanzo, because you can dash around these walls. You can even come in from the top, sort of like Santa down the chimney, except he doesn't bring presence, he brings pain.
This is it. Gigantti need to come back, man. Clockwork Vendetta staring at that first place spot. They want it. They want it right here and now. Like you said before, though, maybe Lighthouse is one of their weaker maps. They could match Davin's Widow with Monk Martyrs. He's been doing a good job of it so far.
No Widows on the field, though. We're seeing double Torbjorn again. Davin is not going to give up this engineering battle easily. It's an architectural competition between two genius dwarves. We'll have to see who comes out on top and claims their cave back from Smaug.
That's a really, really early hook. That's a really high hole as well. Doesn't end up finding anything, but Engineer's still doing a whole bunch of damage.
Something we haven't seen in a while from Clockwork Vendetta is using the wall to obscure incoming holds.
Wow, Moose going so low. Problem is when you go for that hook as well, Harry, it just kind of disable all your other abilities, and you do end up traveling rather slow. Not that slow, though. Engineer got flung across the map, instantly killed off by Milky Man, and look, once again, Amplification Matrix coming out so early from Team Gigantti. Clockwork can't do anything, and Gigantti capped the point.
And the wall placement wasn't perfect like it usually is for Ricky, meaning that those pillars are instantly destroyed. Leaf can just break them down, and he breaks down the rest of Clockwork Vendetta as well.
Resurrection's coming through. Yeah, it's going to get interrupted too. I don't know about that Dragon Strike, though.
Yeah, that's a yikes.
It's going to bisect the rest of the team. Milky Man taking additional damage, but once again, what's this 3 for 3 hooks now for Zuppe. Insta-killing Engineer. I think Clockwork Vendetta maybe frivolously using that ultimate. He's going to be able to build it up so quickly, Harry, but they're not going to have it for this next one.
And Team Gigantti took advantage of how much healing they have to go onto a point first. They knew they could afford to take the poke from Ricky, from Engineer, from Montmartre, because they could heal everyone up. Skripper has to heal one person at a time, and he has less HPS anyway, so less of a ability to move around.
Holt onto Milky Man, using that Fortify, though. There's a Dragon Strike from Leaf this time. Again, trying to push people away. And the whole hog as well. I'm not going to hit anybody from that distance, I don't think. That Supercharger is still doing a lot of work, though. Skripper's taking some punishment up in the skies, but Leaf opens up the fight with a kill on Monk Marder.
Well, Team Gigantti have invested 3 ultimates to basically no avail just now, but Clockwork Vendetta, they're still looking at the time, tick inexorably away. Davin's ready to lock it down with the Molten Core, should they move on to the point, but long-range snipe.
Yeah, he sniped out Engineer. Skripper's going to be able to res him, thankfully, but Gigantti, they got 70, going on 80% now, Harry.
And another Amplification Matrix.
Ricky's coming in. Molten Core's going to use on top of that Blizzard, but it actually gets eaten instead. Zappis once again. He's eaten so many ults, and Leaf finds 2 as well. Gigantti, this looks like a clean sweep for them. Molten Core's going to have to get dashed around. The Leaf eventually ends up going down, but it is Gigantti firmly holding this point in order to secure this map. Milky Man takes additional damage, but Lil Bo ends up falling. Engineer goes in with the hammer and claims the kill.
The gang's all here. Ricky's trying to make it work with the Doom Fist, and it will eventually be in their favor, but Team Gigantti They can pick and choose for engagements now, Jaws. They only need to win one fight in order to claim Lighthouse and take us to 1-1, take us to Ruins, and get that Widowmaker duel that we all want between Monk Mada and, of course, Davin. And Ricky, he's staying on this Doomfist right now unless he's going back to spawn to swap over onto the May. That means there's less ability to mitigate incoming Holt hooks. Team Gigantti have that ability. They have Davin, who can use his defense matrix on the Holt or on the scrap gun. For Clockwork Vendetta, they're just waiting for Ricky to make a mistake.
Davin got hook. Goofy little rocket punch there by Ricky to get out of that Holt. Gigantti know it's only one fight, so they're just going to back off rather easily. Ricky on this Doomfist, though, probably taking a few lessons from Purge. Now they just need to hold this high ground. If he can uppercut someone as well, it almost acts like a Holt.
Yeah, Supercharge as well can be very effective with a Doomfist for allowing additional damage to come through from the Seismic Slam, allow him to stay in place longer as well. With those shields, he can get very aggressive. There is the amplification.
Nice little hook, dragging someone around the corner as well. Tope ends up going down. Instant response there from Gigantti, but they're all going to get taken care of. Again, the Holts have been so good on the side of Clockwork Vendetta when they have the defense. Davin ends up taking out Scarippa, though. That's a pretty big pick. Gigantti, if they can regroup quick enough, Harry, they might be able to get back to the point.
That is a really bad pick, but Ricky is going to move back. He's going to be the taxi for Scarippa. Use that Guardian Angel, of course, to move towards the fast-moving Doomfist, get that faster respawn time. His Engineer looks for some healing. He's got one Molten Core ready to go. They can force Gigantti to move on to a point here and have the advantage of being able to just lather it in the Molten Core. Zappis can potentially eat that up.
There's the Molten Core. Straight on top of that ult as well, coming through from Gigantti. However, the problem is that Supercharger dealing the fatal blow to Moose. Ricky on the sidelines has almost got the ultimate available as well, but playing way more defensively now.
Clockwork Vendetta need to pick their battle right here, but Monk Mada hasn't been able to.
Ricky's going in. He has to go for the hero play, but can't find the pick. He's going to get taken out by Leaf. Looking to go the full distance. Gigantti want to get on the point. Little Bo is down, but they got bodies already there, Harry.
Davin putting down the Molten Core. Everyone's going to be feeling the heat right now.
Gigantti still on the point, ready and rocking to go. Instant kill from the Molten Core by Davin, and 99% flip over for Gigantti. And now OT is here. Monk Mada dashes on the point, instantly gets killed off, and Gigantti are taking them to map number 3 on Helios. We're going to Ruins. It's gone the full distance.
The whole distance. I hope you guys got your running shoes on. You need a fresh pair of socks. This has been a marathon, Jaws. But now it's time to end in a sprint. It is going to be Helios, one of the famous Widowmaker maps. You can already see Monk Mada locking it in. Will Davin do the same thing? Does he want to meet him? Obviously, we've had a lot of highlight plays for Davin on that Widowmaker thus far, but may decide to stick with this Torbjorn. But we've seen Torbjorn scuppered so many times in his potential efficacy from a quick snipe, because it does break through the overload. It gives you enough damage to try and mitigate the huge threat that Torbjorn has when he uses that ability.
Well, Davin is still hovering here. I'm kind of curious if he's just going to instantly switch over. Zappis now back onto the D.Va. Not too much of a surprise. The amount of ultimates he's eaten is a little bit ludicrous at this point. Yeah, Davin's still on it, so yeah, he's willing to take this Torben v Widow duel.
Well, maybe waiting to see what Monk Mada's playing. It'll be reported back to him, of course, but doesn't look like he's with his team. There it is, Overload on the right-hand side. Monk Mada's got a nice sightline here to try and make sure everyone's having a bad time.
Man, these Immortality Fields are doing so well. Yeah, Zappis turns around. Oh, it's a wall in front of me. That's unfortunate. It gets a kill on Ricky, though, somehow. Okay, he loses his mech, and now they can go back around. Somehow Ricky died in that, and Davin and Zappe are just going to walk on forwards.
That is really bad right there. Davin taking advantage of the fact that Clockwork Vendetta don't have a brawling power with Monk Mada while he's on this Widowmaker. It doesn't have a brawling power of a Hanzo. They don't have as much as they have when, you know, Leaf is constantly pressuring the shield, use the Storm Arrow to get huge DPS out onto that. And then you can get so much damage through. Davin also doesn't have to reload. Huge DPS. Lil Bo has all the healing he wants. Once again, Boy's got Amplification Matrix. You know he and the boys are going to be looking to do some double damage on the point as Clockwork Vendetta move on forward. Scarippa needs to get this Valkyrie, needs the additional healing so that he can be just as effective as Lil Bo.
Milkabound's pretty close to an ult of his own. Lee finds the first pick of the fight, and instantly you can see there, Team Gigantti trying to capitalize on the Resing Mercy, but they can't quite do it. Valkyrie pop from Scarippa as well, moving forward. And this is going to be the problem here. Are they going to be able to find the picks? Because they got Gigantti, they got a lot of ults online. Zappe finds the pick as well. There's going to be a freeze on Zappe, at least take him out. But look at this, Amplification Matrix on top of the Supercharger. Everybody's going to instantly disappear.
There it is, Davin using the Molten Core as well. Huge investment here from Team Gigantti. They don't want to lose this fight. They know it could go either way. And now they're going to re-engage. Supercharger from the side of Clockwork Vendetta, but Ricky won't be able to get the effects of that. It's not in the line of sight.
and they're not doing any damage to the shield. There you go, it finally goes down, but they're going to be able to re-engage back onto this point. Moose using the whole hog, trying to find Leaf, but Leaf now in the back line. Super secret agent Hanzo tries to find a pick, but doesn't quite get it. Clockwork Vendetta now plant themselves on the point. They still got a Blizzard at their disposal, but with Zappis going down, maybe they just win the fight regardless. Zippe using the ult as well, but Gigantti have set themselves up here for a W, Harry. They have 76% on the board, and Clockwork Vendetta have only found the flip.
Not a fan of Rookie's Blizzard there either. That could have been used. They need to hold on for so long, George. You can't throw away ults frivolously on fights you've basically already won. Potentially there was a clutch there from Team Gigantti if that hadn't happened, but I choose to believe that Ricky could have saved that for another time. But look, he's hitting the headshots. He's getting it up rather quickly. Engineer can lock down points of ingress once again. He can lay out the red carpet. And Davin, don't catch those, my son. This ain't how you play catch with your daddy.
Nice little pick. Again, this is the same thing that happened on Lighthouse, Harry. At the end of the day, you lose one almost instantly. You're like, okay, we can reset really fast. We don't waste too much time. Davin's going to come back pretty quickly. In fact, you can see Gigantti now pushing.
There they are, Nobo ready to make their push a lot more dangerous with the amplification matrix. It allows everyone else to bullet for ultimate so quickly as Engineer wants to ward them away. Overload is going to do a lot to try and make sure they're not available.
Self-destruct launched over the top, but Milky Man's already dead. That had to be big from Zappis to savor this fight. Davin ends up going down to Monk Marder's ult, and now Engineer can set himself up and the rest of his team perfectly.
And that was not the ideal Dragon Strike right there. Leaf's going to be wishing he had that back for the next fight, potentially, but Ricky's already down. He's won out the brawl. What's going on? Clockwork Vendetta, you need to coalesce. You need to find Leaf. You got to take him out. Don't lose the duel. What are you doing,
Engineer
son?
with a 1v1 ends up losing it. Now Leaf for 2 picks. Gigantti can come back so fast, and they have Amp Matrix.
Oh, that was a bit of an int from both the DPS of Clockwork Vendetta right there. Monk Marder's got to try and rescue it.
Oh, there it is. Amp Matrix easily dispatching Mini-Me, and Moose is going to go down as well. Clockwork Vendetta, they got a couple of ults, but they're going to have to get back to the point quickly. Instantly, can see Scarippa goes to the rest, but it was too dangerous, and he ends up going down himself.
Ricky and Engineer, they both went for Leaf one after the other. Just go at the same time or go with your tanks, my boys. That ain't how it's going to go. Leaf has the Dragon Strike ready to go as well. There's so much in terms of Team Gigantti's toolbank to try and keep them alive in this fight, including the supercharger that's almost come up. But Ricky can lock down a point with a Blizzard, and that may be exactly what's required as they move in for the final fight.
Molten Core coming out, and Engineer's already dead. The Blizzard's on the point to deny all of that damage coming out, but Milky Man's standing proud. He's up, it's still alive. That supercharger doing so much work. The Dragon Strike's going to come in, but Davin finds the kill on Scarippa. OT now in effect, and Clockwork can't touch the point. Gigantti are going to come number 1 in your group stages as they take the W 3-2.
The group stage champions, but both of these have secured their buys. You'll be seeing them in semi-finals with our 2-2-2 lock and Gigantti right now. They are looking incredibly fearsome. Leaf, the man clutches up. You can tell why he's a multi-time Contenders winner with Eagle Gaming, the best team in the world. You know, he's looking to go for it again.
Clockwork Vendetta, what a journey they've been on, though. They now slip with 2 defeats to the name, but they still managed to get the buys, like you were saying. It's all looking forward to those playoffs, though. 2-2-2 is going to be in effect. And like you mentioned before, we've seen a little bit of here and there from Clockwork Vendetta. We saw Monk Marder on something we don't normally see him on, even though he is listed as support. He did jump over to the Zenyatta. But Gigantti, they look so unstoppable this season.
Yeah, they're looking real good. Davin and Leaf, the ability of them to clutch is just insane. And Zippe on this hog, very much a value. But you know Zippe isn't going to be staying on that hog for long. It will be Zappis who takes over that duty, as I do believe he is their administered flex player. And I wonder if we're going to see him stick on the Diva or go over to the Roadhog, because both of these heroes get so much value, but we've seen Zappis just eat so many ultimates. Pretty sure the guy needs to watch his calorie counter after how much he's eaten today.
Zapp is so sick. He has a couple of Dragon Strikes, maybe even more, definitely a couple of Blizzards as well. He had Ricky's number, and that is a very slow ult animation as well from the main. Normally you want to do it in a bunch of people so you can't really be seen, you know, and then maybe just throw it on the floor too to decrease the animation time of Snowball being thrown out. This Havana map, though, it looks so good for Gigantti. Davin was on fire, like you were saying, on the Widow, and there was almost nothing that could stop him. It was only at the very end where it came to the castle, and Clockwork Vendetta do what they do best, and they defend.
Yeah, Scarippa coming through with a Jimmy Neutron Brain Blast, managing to get rid of Davin. Here's that highlight reel. Beautiful. He got 4 kills, I believe, and then he got another 3k later on while he was upstairs in the fortress. Great play from him. Here it is again. Oh, it's pathetic, Jules.
Yeah, double sniper as well from them. And again, it's a composition that we've seen a long, long time ago. Double sniper is very popular, and I want to see it more again. Widow has so much proficiency on the maps that we're seeing, like Havana being brought into the rotation, and in 2-2-2 as well. It does lead to a lot of comps being, and a lot of teams having to be a lot more flexible. We're going to see a lot more dive. We're going to see a lot more double DPS, double sniper, in fact. And I think Gigantti have got what it takes to run those kind of comps. Davin's been around for an age, and his Tracer is yet to be brought out again. We've seen a little bit of it here and there, but I'm excited to see what they got prepared for us next week.
Yeah, we've also got to wonder if we're going to continue to see Baptiste, because he has been sort of like the go-to solo healer for Gigantti, but he's a really good solo healer because of how fast he gets the amplification matrix by splashing those heals on the ground. When you're dealing with a secondary healer, do you want someone who's got a little bit more utility with a more supportive ultimate, or you're going to try and combine it with a Zenyatta so you can get even more damage onto a tank in front of an amplification matrix? So much theory crafting to be done.
Well, it's going to be AT versus Yab after the break, though, guys. Do not go anywhere. That's definitely not one you're going to want to miss.